Yeah, man.
Can you speak to your family dynamic as far as mother, father, what their status was, and brothers and sisters you had, whether half or biological?
Man, that's crazy you say that. I asked that because, speaking on my siblings is a tough thing, because I got a lot of love for them, but through growing up, we never seen eye to eye. We never, really understood each other and none of our endeavors, it was kind of like all the way around. I got two brothers, actually three brothers, and two sisters, two stepbrothers and one stepsister, but they like real brothers,
Are you in the middle, towards older, younger?
Most definitely. I got an older brother, same mom, same dad, and I got a younger sister, same mom, and a younger brother and another younger sister.
Okay.
Outside of just with my old man.
Okay. So let's go and do it like this. You try to, understand the making of a man. Of course, your life, takes a lot of twists and turns. How would you say was your childhood growing up as far as the family dynamic, what kind of son you were to your parents, what kind of parents, what kind of parents were your folks to you?
Shoot, man, to be honest, me growing up, man, I kind of had my own perspective with the way I seen things and, seeing my old man and seeing my mother growing up, just because I was more back and forth. I had a resentment towards my old man, at a young age, and I never really knew why, until I got older. And actually had kids of my own, it took me almost 20 years to find out why I really didn't like him growing up, but I always showed love. He was never able to see that I didn't like him in a way, but they was definitely around. He was around since I was bad, I was back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Sean Cotton mama told me, man, that pretty much, shoot, that I wouldn't be nothing if I keep hanging around with the crowd. She was my principal.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, middle school. It was crazy.
It's crazy. And remember, I know Sean Cotton spoke on his mother, how they used to, hustle just trying to make by. So that's actually very crazy. So I would say, what kind of kid, well, before I ask what kind of kid you were, you said it took you a while to find out why you had resentment towards your father. What was the reason after you found out, 2 decades later?
Oh, man, him not being around. Him not being around and pretty much letting me go stay with my mom, man.
Did he ever give you a reason or excuse why he wasn't around?
Well, man, you getting to the nitty gritty, and this is the whole thing, man, right here when it comes to me actually going to stay with my mom. I wanted to. Like, I made that decision like at a kid because I didn't know that I had a brother, a mom and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I was kidnapped at 2 years old, and I pretty much just stayed with my old man until, I started talking to my older brother and my mom and stuff, So I didn't really know much about even having that side of a family, you know what I'm saying? But when I did find out, I was very, very interested to go meet my mom and my brother, as if I never met them, But I was just too young to pretty much remember them at that time.
Can you speak on being kidnapped at 2 years old, the details around that?
Man, that part there, it's still kind of black and white, man. I can just remember my mom screaming and, get my baby back type stuff. And I'm looking at my brother standing in the on the sidewalk, but it get glimpsy, you know what I mean? I remember getting in the car, man, and that was it, you know.
Who like, do you know, what was it, a ice cream truck or what?
No, it was my father, man.
Oh, your father kidnapped you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it kidnapping though when your father is just wanting you back though?
Man, he actually made the newspaper, man, in Lake Providence, man. Showed me, you know what I mean, the peace and everything, you know. But yeah, you know, it's crazy, man. You know, Texas got them type of laws too, so.
Now that you're older and you have children yourself, do you understand why your father or a father would attempt to go outside of the law to take their child back?
Most definitely. But even more, man, I want to elaborate on that decision that I made too, though, man. Like, to actually leave my father, you know what I mean, to go stay with my mom, because that's what had me angry at him for so many years. And it took me 15 plus years, 20 years to figure that out. Because I was always just mad at him, like, dude, you ain't never did nothing for me. I always had that feeling like you were never around, like when I truly needed you, type of thing again.
How old was your father when he had you, do you know? If you were to guess.
I would say 28 or something like that, probably. Somewhere else.
Grown man.
Yeah.
Grown man. If you don't mind elaborating on the decision, what were you contemplating for you to leave and go stay with your mother? Man,
I said 28.
Yeah, no, please. Yeah, correct.
Man, my old man probably had to be somewhere in his younger 20s, man, when they had me. If he about, you know what I mean, 60 almost.
Yeah.
Man, don't hold me down.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
What I mean? If he about 60, you know, almost, you know, yeah, you know what I mean, about 20 something, about 20, 21, 22.
All right. Can you elaborate on the situation as far as your decision to go stay with your mother? And let me ask you, do you feel that was, you know, hindsight's always 20/20, was that the right decision based on how things turned out?
Man, that's one of the best questions you can ask me, because I fought with myself for years, man. Even until I got grown, like I know if I had to stay with my old man, like life would have been different. You know, I'm almost an extremist to a certain extent, you know. So if I grew up a certain way without knowing a certain type of lifestyle, I wouldn't have wanted to know the other side, especially if it's good already. So I think I went through this path everything I went through for a reason, you know. Actually making that decision, you know, man, I lived every bit of it, you know. When I say every bit of it, man, you know, old lady, you know, mom's side of the family, don't hate me, but, you know, Lake Providence, Louisiana, man, from Milwaukee, you know, and compared to what I was seeing, I was more sheltered with my old man. When I got to Lake Providence, man, it was wide open. Man. Like, you know,
how is Lake Providence, for those who've never been through that part? About what's the population, about what's the racial divide, blacks to whites?
It's a big racial divide. You know, you got the white people on one side, you got black people on the other side of the lake, you know. Of course, they look totally different, you know. You know, the white side gonna look clean and all that and stuff. And on the other side, man, you got one high school, all the schools are connected. High school, middle school, and so I think
all
they
have the same name,
too.
or
yeah. I think it's all connected. You know what I mean? So they whole school. You know.
Can you remember, like, were you living in an apartment or a house, and can you remember how it was set up? How many rooms it had?
Man, we was in the projects in Lake Providence. You know, I got into my first fight. You know, shortly after getting there, you know, I had a bike. You know, I had just got it bought for me. You know, mind you, I didn't know how to fight. You know, I was messed up, man, coming from Milwaukee. You know, I was you know what I mean, up there selling cookies to buy other kids stuff, and I get down here and these mothers willing to take stuff from you. So it's like, it's a whole different environment. So I'm really messed up, you know what I mean? So, but I got my bike took, man, got beat up over it. I fought for it though. I fought every bit for it. You know, went to the house, told my old lady, you know what I'm saying, that I'm sure somebody took my bike. And that was some of the worst feelings, man. I started, after me getting older, I realized, man, I started doing things that was gonna bring me down as a man and as a young man by making certain decisions at that age. I wouldn't have understood them then, but I realized them as I got older that, you know, I'm making bonehead decisions, but I don't really care, you know what I mean? But speaking for that incident though, after getting into that fight, man, my mom was like, man, you don't let nobody take nothing from you. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick up something, whatever. You don't let nobody put their hands on you. And that stuck with me, you know what I'm saying? After that fight, you know, I ain't had to really be told to fight, you know what I mean? Much, but mind you, I ain't know how to really, I think that was my first fight I ever shoot.
Sometimes when you fight and you feel like it's easy to get through it, yeah, that definitely starts a whole nother persona.
Yeah.
So it makes me ask the question as far as your adolescence. Let's just say, you know, when a boy becomes a man, you know, between 12 and let's say 16, what kind of student were you? You know, on the streets, what kind of kid were you?
You know, man, on the streets, man, I'm gonna speak for that first because, you know, in between the ages of, you know, 10 to 25, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, I kind of slowed down at like 20. But from 10 to about 20, man, it was up. Like everything, you know, just me personally, I ain't care what my mama said, you know, who did everything in the world to, you know what I mean, provide everything, man. She never turned her back on me, you know. I never understood it, you know, growing up because I never felt the love either too. So as I got older, I started to realize like she actually loved me, you know what I mean? Like that's my, like she did all this for a certain reason. And man, it was just crazy with, you know what I mean, putting her through a lot. But in school, I put it through even more, you know. So she stayed, you know, getting calls, you know. I stayed in, man, petty stuff early on until, you know, middle school and high school. Then it got more jumping, you know. It was up, you know. I started banking a little bit, just doing stuff that they wouldn't even.
What was your first run-in with police? Whether between you or partners of yours, what was your first run-in, if you can remember?
Skipping school. And led the police on like a 4-hour, you know, chase. You know what I mean? So they bring out the helicopters and all that.
Skipping school? Man,
I got kicked out of school, man. I had to move. To Milwaukee on a day notice, man. You know, my T-lady said that was the only way to keep me out of jail at the time, you know. But of course I ain't understand it then. You know, I was mad at my you know, like I was mad at the motherfucker. It killed me, like to be like, what? Like in a day, like I don't get to say bye, nothing. Like yeah.
Why was it a day's notice in regards? Why didn't they give you a couple of days or a week or something?
Because, man, the officers was willing to drop the charge if I was going to pretty much leave the state, you know what I mean, and go to school, pretty much go live with my old man. So, you know, that was my first time actually being forced to actually have to leave, you know. And that was my 6th grade year. 6th or 7th grade year, I believe.
Were you ever into any sports?
Man, I played football, basketball, but I ain't really like it much growing up, you know. My mom was the one that was taking me to certain stuff, man, like certain practices, you know, in the beginning, Pee-wee, I ain't really want to play, man, because I ain't have pretty much no support system in that, you know. And I seen a lot of kids, man, just like me, man, not want to do nothing, man, out there because they seen it was kind of like a phase thing at a young age. And, you know, me right there, like growing up, I realized like I really don't like competing with other people about, you know, who's stronger, you know what I mean, or who can shoot the ball in the bucket, you know what I'm saying? That ain't my type of thing, you know. Never was really, but I played it though.
Did you have a best friend growing up? If someone that you could call or say that's your best friend?
Most definitely, man. Shoot, man.
If I say, what's his name? I mean,
man, I can't do names, you know, just because, you know,
understandable.
Certain people still doing what they have to do to, you know, just get by, you know. So I don't want to just bring up no names, but man, I got a cousin, man, that was just like my, you know, brother, and I got a partner that I grew up with that, you know, was just like another brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like 3 or 4 of us really out here in Texas, man. One of my first partners that I met, you know, man, I started running the streets, man, probably about 9, 10, about 2000, somewhere between like 2000, 2001. You know, I ended up stabbing my brother, man, after, you know, my mom left, you know what I mean? Me and him would fight every day, you know what I'm saying? So I knew he would get down on me, you know what I'm saying? I knew I was gonna lose that fight the moment she got that door.
This your younger brother or your older brother?
My older brother.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah, man, so.
What you had, a butter knife, or what you actually had?
I actually went and got a real knife and stabbed him, man, and yeah, man, he screamed. He screamed like a motherfucker, but you know what I'm saying? So I made a deal with him. You know what I mean? He was just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, what I got to do for you not to tell mama? You know what I'm saying? He was like, true, I need everything. I'm like, I'll do the dishes or woo-woo, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'll clean up, whatever. He's like, man, I want everything. I want the Game Boy, I want the PlayStation, I want it all. Like, you're a mark. You're a mark for.
Wait, so did he make up an excuse of why he was bleeding or something? Or?
Man, he passed up, man. We passed up before she got there. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And I helped him. You know what I mean? So
playing doctor. Playing doctor.
Man. Yeah.
You know, I always like to go ahead.
That's what started it though. Like that's what started my official thing in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Because shoot, man, if I can't do nothing in the house, you know, I'm finna go outside. I was already like that in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? Whenever my mom was gone, man, I was out there, you know what I mean? I was in a daze, man, when I got there because I didn't understand that type of environment, you know what I'm saying? If you ever seen Lake Providence, man, it's small.
Yeah.
They got probably a population of 10,000. But at nighttime, it's a whole different game. At nighttime, you seeing slab, you seeing cars, man, like that you don't see this walking around that much. So you knowing people coming from somewhere, people popping up out the woodworks. You know what I'm saying?
Were you ever like what was you know, I don't want to call it love life because you're young, but did you ever have like your first girlfriend or an older chick? You know, sometimes when you're growing up, there's always like an older girl or something that, you know, your kid is interested in and he's doing things to try to impress, showing out, trying to impress. Was there anybody like that in your situation?
Man, I would say, man, probably just the mother of my kids. She would be the only, you know. She was from back then in that day, you know. But we wasn't really serious, man. We was more like, you know, it started off serious, but then it turned into just, you know, friends for benefits type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And that got ugly, you know, at an early age to the point to where So we just call each other, and so so get stuff done like that.
Like that.
So let that be that.
So, because they're gonna want to know, birthmark. Is that what's on your head right there?
Man, yes. I don't think any human being can imagine everywhere you go, people like, what is that on your forehead? Like, I'm like growing up, I used to be mad at a motherfucker telling people like, what is that on your forehead? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
but that was one of the things that I had to battle too growing up. You know what I mean? Because I definitely didn't feel as if I was a normal kid. You know what I'm saying? I failed the second grade. A lot of people, it's something about people that failed the second grade I don't understand, man. I don't know. But I failed the second grade, man, and I don't know, man. They were trying to put me in the special ed class, man. It made me, that told me up right there. Like, it was a wrap. I ain't gonna cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I seen that, man, I actually seen the real deal class. Nah, man, so I started to try to figure it out at that point, but I just wasn't into that. I was more into, my surroundings growing up.
So let me ask, did people pick on you a lot? Did people bully you a lot because of that, or did you not let that faze you?
I would say pick as far as family. You know what I mean? I had cousins and stuff. You know what I mean? So we're high side all day. You know what I'm saying? Out the blue, you know what I'm saying? I guess because I was, you know what I'm saying, the blackest one with the spot on their forehead, and then, so my uncles, you know what I mean, had started calling me Spot back then, you know what I'm saying? So they used to think that they can call me Spot too, but man, that right there get me ready to fight them for nothing. But nah, man, so outside of that, man, people say little slick shit in school, but people knew how I was in school. I wasn't going for none of that type of shit. We squad up over, I don't do no talking.
Yeah.
I'm a no tolerance when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? And, if we high side, yeah, we can high side, but if I ain't, you know what I'm saying, trying to do that, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you go on about your business, walk off on you. You know what I mean? I done had motherfuckers try to follow me too, talking that shit, and that didn't end well for them.
And as we speak, we're gonna jump around, but right now I really want to kind of hone in on 2016. This year was literally very hectic for you in the sense where, as Black men, we try to avoid jail time, avoid having to sit behind bars for any reason. But you, of course, we're all not perfect, and things catch up with us. Leading up to 2016, how was the birth of your children, dealing with you're not married, it's your baby mama. How was, whether rocky or sweet that situation was leading up to the year of 2016?
Man, 2016, leading up to 2016 it was already rocky. You know what I mean? I'm working temp jobs, had just got out of, like retail. So I was making temp change at retail, $8, $9 and $10 and stuff. Started working warehouses, started moving up $13, $14, $15 and stuff like that. It was rocky, during the end and the beginning of having kids, she actually got pregnant with my daughter 2015, and that was the start of me changing, man, and really starting to be more conscious of the things that I was doing, because I cared, but I was looking at things more of a selfish type way just for myself, I ain't have to worry about nothing else, I was more for the guys than, just, out here trying to really make something. I was, kind of illiterate in a way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you said your baby mom is your also, your on again, off again. You kind of always went through it. If you could speak on it, what was, your admiration towards her? What was it about her that you love so much to just keep going back? And also, what was it that just maybe irked you to make you keep going away from that situation?
Honestly, man, I'd be embarrassed to say it, but she was the only person that I could really talk to, you know what I'm saying, in a way about things. And on top of that, I wasn't trying to deal with a lot of females out here, you know what I'm saying? So I got me a little thick one, you know what I'm saying, chunky. Growing up, I always looked at it like, you know what I mean, so molding type stuff, and that shit backfired like motherfucker. Shit, did it. Backfired, that shit went the opposite way. I think she molded me more to be the man that I'm being nowadays, just because through her putting me through so much, she didn't understand that I was gonna keep trying to better myself regardless, because I had kids by her. 2015, she pretty much was like, you need to leave the streets, you need to leave everything alone. Messing with Molly's, doing crazy stuff, man. I was kind of just, I was average, but I was just, I was on my daily bullshit, if you call it, which would be just waking up, fucking off money, finding ways to make more money, and by any means type of thing.
What was your drug of choice or drink of choice, or what was your escape? What was your getaway?
Man, I was a pothead my whole life growing up, man. Man, I grew like 2 or 3 weed plants in my mom's backyard growing up, man, and that right there took me out, you know what I'm saying, as far as mentally, because once I seen I was able to grow it, I'm like, fuck a middleman, fuck it, fuck all that. Like, I want it myself now. Like, and so I can be the plug, actually. So the first chance I had, man, so I tried it, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I started doing for a little bit of time, man, Never made what I was supposed to make off of it though, man. So I was always mad at that shit.
I'm always curious, what does someone expect to make off that? What was at the time, realistically, what were you planning to make?
If you do the math, let's say about maybe not even a pound of plant, but like 3 to 6 ounces of plant would be good for me. And I had like 20 of them. I just wanted like 5, 6 pounds, man, to come up, you know what I mean? Off just me living in my own, you know what I'm saying? Type of thing.
How much money, whether per day, per week, per month, were you wanting to make? If you were to say you're okay, to like, all right, I'm good.
Shit, $200, $200-$300.
That'll do it.
Shit, $200-$300 at that age, man.
Because you don't need as much after that. But what happens is, what I always hear is that once you get that $200-$300, making that a day or something, then you're gonna want more. You're gonna turn up a little bit.
That was hard coming. That came hard, man. Them little $200-$300 came sometimes, man, with just somebody getting pushed over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it took whatever it had to. But mind you, doing stuff like that, that only happened to people that it was supposed. I wouldn't say supposed to happen to, but for the people that did something directly to. Type stuff.
All right, well, let's get right to it then, man. You actually had to go sit down. And again, when I speak on like 2016, I want to speak on kind of what led you to even get your charges. And, you got multiple different charges in this situation that led you to finally sit down. What was the first situation that took place?
The first situation that took place was a situation with me and the mother of my kids 6 months prior to that November of 2016. I actually went to jail like in November for something that happened in like June or something, like May or June or something like that. And it was an assault. You know what I mean? Me and her got into it, you know, at her mom's house, and, you know, her mom called the police, you know. It was an ugly situation, you know what I mean? I can't even, you know, cap on that, but so after that, I bonded out. Man, that was just a wild situation because, you know, they let her drive off in my car, man, but tell me that I can't be around her or my daughter after that first incident after I go to jail. You know what I mean? For that misdemeanor, it was, you know what I mean, family violence.
Let her drive off in your car.
Let her drive off in my car, man, you know, and put a emergency protective order out on me, man. It's called the EPO, emergency protective order out on me. And
can I ask you, if you don't mind being honest, what was it about that situation you feel they saw that, you know, you were not the, like, you were the aggressor in that situation? What happened for them to look at you in such a way like, all right, here's the emergency protective order. You could take the car, just get out of here.
Did she? Maybe because my daughter was involved, I believe. You know,
your mother's gonna win that.
And also, then I didn't see that they had like any proof of evidence. So obviously, you know what I mean, either her or her mom either sent the detective pictures of, you know what I mean, her lip, not busted lip, you know. Yeah.
So you go to jail during that time?
No.
Okay. So
no, I actually left, man. I left and went home that day, and called her. You know, we ended up stopped talking for a little bit, like a month or two, and man, ended up start back talking, and 2 months later, 2.5 months later, 3 months later, I go to jail, you know, for it, you know. So yeah, I was pretty messed up about that. Then I actually bond out of that, man. Go to jail 2 weeks later, man, with 2 aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon and assault, for shooting my sister in the head and hitting her over the head with a gun, as they say, you know. And then they say I put my hands on my mom, but that was dropped because, you know what I mean, she, you know what I mean, she know, like, I wasn't aggressive to really no one but the mother of my kids, and I wasn't even aggressive even then to her, you know what I mean, outside of just trying to push her away from me. So I'm gonna get off into that, you know. That was like December 13th, man. You know, mind you, I got the emergency protective order out on me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not supposed to be around her, but me and her talking, you know what I mean? So we on good terms, I guess, you know what I mean? But I'm hot. I'm pissed off because I just went to jail. I had to bond out of jail, and I got an emergency. I can't be around y'all, so now I got to figure out how to get out of this situation. And you just, you know what I mean, thinking everything cool and okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, ran me hot, you know what I'm saying? But she was just like, I want to come over and we can talk and this and that. And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea right now.
How old are you at this time?
25 at that time.
Yeah, that's nice. And your mind is right. I don't think it's a good idea, but
yeah, man. And so I ain't really want to answer that question. So you know what I mean. I went there to my old lady. You know what I mean. I just asked her, like, you know, you think it's okay, or do you think it's a good idea for Bianca to come over? And she was like, Dominique, that's up to you. You know what I'm saying? And so from there, you know, I was like, yeah, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? So I called her, told her she can go and come over. Man, that was the that was the worst thing I could have said because I'm already knowing I'm hot. I'm knowing I'm pissed off already, you know what I'm saying? I just spent dry money and still got, you know what I'm saying, stuff I'm paying off, you know.
Facts.
So, man, so she came over and, you know, everything was good, you know what I mean? So she took the baby in the house, you know what I'm saying? Took my daughter in the house and we out there talking, you know, about 30 minutes into our conversation. My mama come out there, you know what I'm saying? I guess she looking at me and she seeing that, you know, I'm making hand gestures, you know what I mean? I usually talk with my hands and stuff, but, you know, she's saying that I'm kind of yelling a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say she's seeing it because our windows rolled up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we was listening to music before it. But she pretty much just said, you know, so I don't want y'all out here arguing. If y'all gonna argue, you know what I'm saying? So y'all don't need to be arguing, period, you know what I mean? But definitely not out here in front of my house. And so I'm like, man, that's understandable, you know what I'm saying? She walked in the house for a minute, came back outside to the car, man. And so at this time, man, we still kind of going at it. But that first incident made it worse, you know what I'm saying, with my mama coming to the car, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It made it 10 times worse because now she just, like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm finna get my baby and go home. And I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? So you came over here to drop off my baby and let me see my baby. I'm not finna just let you take her, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you need to do whatever you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? Call laws, do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? But I'm finna spend some time with her, you know what I'm saying? That was a bonehead decision of me, man, because it ended up turning out, you know what I'm saying? I grabbed my baby from my sister and shit, everything went down here from there, you know what I'm saying? She got to trying to grab her, you know what I'm saying? I'm like telling her, man, you get the hell out of me. Mind you, I had a gun on me, on my right side. You know what I mean? I always in them days, man, from at least about 13 or 14, as long as I was out here in Texas, I always kept some, you know what I'm saying, on me.
Yeah.
But, shit, man, she kept trying to grab her, man. I'm telling her, like, you know what I'm saying, you gonna make this gun fall and stuff like that. And she was like, man, I don't care, just give me my baby so I can go. Now my mama in the middle of us trying to separate us because we're in the house, you know what I'm saying? Man, the situation get sort of de-escalated or something. Like my mama take her like outside or something like this, and I just got my baby in there and she crying. I'm just like, damn, I can't get her to stop crying. I'm standing up, walking around the room, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, damn, do I really want them to call all type of shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm not really trying to deal with that shit. And I'm thinking, I got an emergency protective order out on me. So I'm just like, man, honestly, just, man, I'm finna go and give her up. And that's what I did, you know what I'm saying? But as I'm giving her up, my sister went past me and my mama, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I ain't pay no attention to it. I ain't get it, you know what I'm saying? I went in my room, man, grabbed my smokes and stuff, man, and shit. I'm about to leave. And my sister holding the door open for me, man, telling me get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? She waving a gun and shit, talking about get the fuck out. We got guns too and this and this. I'm like, damn. Like, where that come from? Like, mind you, I stopped, like, down the hall, like, seeing her, and I'm just like, I was kind of fucked up, but I ain't know that I want to go through the door, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm already knowing I'm fucked up by this, like, I don't really know what to do. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, Dominique, why even, you know what I mean, shoot, do it? Because I'm thinking something stupid, you know what I mean? I'm ready to kind of just, you know what I mean,
yeah, it's
act the fool, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I'm like, what's this for now? Like, now I'm looking at the gun too, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, fuck it. I just said, fuck it. I got to walking out that door, man, and she ran off at the mouth. Yo, we got guns too. Yo, this and this and this and that. I'm just like, okay. Like, I ain't tripping. But when I got to the point and I'm getting past her, man, she did something like waved that mud, man, right above my head, and I grabbed it, like pinned her arm up, and I hit her ass. I mean, man, I looked back, I see my mama drop my baby, and man, it was ugly after that. You know, that's.
Did you know at the time? Did you know the gun went off? Did you try to render aid? Were you still in the mindset doing that?
That didn't cause her to get shot.
Okay, yeah.
You know, at the time I grabbed it and punched her. You know what I'm saying? I seen my mama. You know what I mean? Come over there. You know what I mean? To, I guess, break it up. So she grabbed us both and shit. Man, we go to the ground. You know what I'm saying? I got my sister on top of me and my mama on top of her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty much at the bottom, but her gun above my head back here, I'm just like, I'm not finna let her grab this motherfucker. So I'm holding her head down. She down here biting the shit out of me. I'm like, Mom, get this motherfucker off me. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling her that, you know what I mean, in that language because like I'm down there about to scream. Like, but yeah, man, shit, that right there was, you know, that right there was just, you know, that was the bad part because when she got to bite me and shit, and I couldn't get off me, shit, I'm telling myself, like, it's like a light bulb went off, like, shit, nigga, you got a gun right here. Like, so I grabbed that motherfucker and hit her across the head with it. She went rampage, and went back down and bit harder. Man, that second swing, I hit her with that motherfucker, boo. See, you know what I'm saying? At that point, I just dropped. I lay back and I'm just like, man.
Yeah, she survived that, correct?
Yeah, she survived.
The aftermath of that moment right there, do you recall it as far as what happened right after that, as far as everything that took place?
Most definitely.
What emotions were you going through at that time? Because everything's hiding right now. Like, again, you were already kind of like, you know, you was already on a level.
Most definitely.
This took it to another level. What was your emotions at the time? What were you going through? What were you kind of contemplating?
Man, this fucked up, but man, you know, I guess, the accountability thing at a young age kind of kicked in at that point, and I'm just like, I ain't want to go to jail for none of this shit. That's instantly what I thought. Like, so first thing in my head is like, I gotta kill everybody. You know, but then I like just laying my head back a little more, and I'm looking at my daughter. And then I'm like, nah. I hurry up and get the thought out of my head, like, and then I'm like, that's my mama, like, nah. I'm like, nah, I can't do this, you know what I mean? So, shit, man, I get up, go get the phone, you know what I'm saying, for my baby mama and tell her, you know what I mean, she'll call the ambulance, you know what I mean, for
With that situation happening, is that what landed you, that got you sentenced, or is that
that's what got me,
aggravated?
The 2 ag assaults, pretty much, you know. One for shooting her and the other one for supposedly hitting my baby mom over the head with it.
You fought that and did you go to trial for that?
Did not go to trial, man.
Took the plea.
Crazy thing about it, you know, I was gonna fight it though, you know. Man, I was fighting for almost 2 years.
What state was this in?
This was here.
Okay.
This was here, Tarrant County, you know. Man, I was gonna fight it, you know, the whole way. I did up until the time they came down, you know. You know what I mean? I was on rocket trial or something like that. So, you know, I was a court appearance away from going to trial. You know, had already supposed to be picked out the juries and stuff. So, you know, the only thing that I guess stopped it was, you know, the fact of, some of the evidence that presented itself at that time. And I don't really know what was being done while I was locked up.
Yeah.
I don't know if my sister felt different hard towards things. I know she was pissed off though early on and stuff. That for at least that first year or two, and even like that's what I'm saying. So I don't really know how I get dropped or why they really come down. I just know it had to be God in that instance. My granny had told me, a year before I took probation, that I was gonna get 5 years probation. And shit, man, they offered me 10 years TDC for almost a year and 9 months, something like that.
Yeah. You said your grandma told you that.
So I was gonna get 5 years, man. I was going over to my grandma's house talking to her a lot, man. I was talking to her about everything.
Yeah.
The mother of my kid situation, the way I feel like, the family dynamics and stuff. I was talking to my granny about a lot, but that actually helped at times, but it didn't actually make me do better until I realized, that she wasn't gonna really be here no more. That messed me up.
If only we know. So you accept the deal to just do the
5 years paper. Took me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I say took me out, like, as you can see these scars, man, like.
Yeah, if you don't mind, explain the scars because we see that. And
man, I did this, my last year on papers,
Still on papers.
I was still on papers.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to say that. Can I say that? Yeah. I guess nobody get hurt but me,
Right,
so,
right. But
yeah.
No, please explain. And again, I know we're jumping around, but now that you brought the scars, of course, that has a story in itself.
Yeah, man, so just, man, going through all that stuff in my life, man, I was just thinking to myself, I was tired, like used to be a lot before I did this shit. I was just wearing myself out daily, mentally, physically, working all the hours I can, thinking of ways, to get a better family dynamic, even with the situation that I had that was toxic. I was just stressing myself out on so many different things, how to get my granny herbs and stuff to help heal her, because she would always say that, things was going on with her, but, I never believed it. But, this was what, March 2022. I did this just going through it in my head, you know what I'm saying? And, it's crazy because like the day before, I actually called my old man and, was kind of talking to him like, there's no I love you type of stuff, kind of talking crazy, but he's just like, bro, whatever you thinking about doing, just, I always make sure your head good on it. And he kind of gave me some advice, and he actually said some shit I never heard or would have expected him to say, He actually said, dude, you shit, actually been a better father than what I was, or been a better daddy than I was, you know what I'm saying? You still there and been able to make it work through a lot of different things. And I understood the clarity he was trying to talk to me, just talk me out of certain stuff, but he was being real with me too, because he never would have said no shit like that just to ever, talk anybody out of nothing. He's the type of person, if you're gonna do it. But yeah. So
to speak to it, the burn marks are you attempting to take your life.
Yes, sir, man. So shit, that next day, man, I probably just came home. I laid down, shit, and I was like, man, shit, fuck it. Like, Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really got no help with shit in life, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to trying to get a business going and trying to do this, trying to do that. You know, I was just been ready to move for so long and not really knowing the right ways. I was confused as hell. And it drove me crazy, you know what I'm saying? From taking in so much information from podcasting and connecting with other people around the world, getting their stories for what's going on. It was driving me to a depression that while I was on papers, it was hard to maintain because I couldn't smoke like I wanted to. You know, I was still bending the laws and stuff and smoking, taking a little detox and going there, passing, you know what I'm saying? Stop a couple of days before. So I can tell y'all how to pass the drug test too, but don't trust it.
He said, don't trust it 100%.
But
yeah. But I want to kind of walk through this because, you know, there's a lot of mental depression that happens, especially amongst men when we look at, we live in a social media world to where we kind of compare and find out like, why aren't we at this level on? But before I even get to your mental state, the method of which you wanted to take yourself out, what was, because these look like burn marks, what was the method in which you attempted to do it?
I gotta be 100% honest with you, man. It took me a minute to tell my old man and my mom, you know what I'm saying? It took me until I got out the hospital, you know what I'm saying? Probably about 2 months later, I went in and told him, no, shoot, man, I grabbed some lighter fluid and just got to dumping it, you know what I mean? All the way on myself, man. And shoot, my ideally way that I was finna go is, shit, I'm finna end that mother, put the gun to my head and let the flames catch the body, you know what I'm saying? Didn't quite work out like that. You know, I actually went to $5 a cigarette, you know, my effect fully engulfed, you know what I mean? Because I'm smoking a cigarette too as I'm fully, you know what I mean, soaked, you know what I'm saying, from head to toe. Shit, man, I went to $5 another one and just didn't go like that. Shit, fired that more up. Shit, fired myself up. Yeah. So, and, you know, shit, at the same time, you know, I was just like, fuck it. Even then, like, I'm on fire. I'm fully engulfed in flame. I'm like, it's time to go. I go grab the motherfucking, you know, gun and try to end it. But that motherfucker, shit was too hot. That motherfucker was hot as hell. That's the only thing that saved me, though. You know?
Who was around to
the mother of my kids sat here and watched everything. You know what I mean? She watched everything. After the gun actually went off, after I pulled that trigger and tried to end it, man, I was in shock myself. My ears was ringing, it was loud as hell, you know.
But you're still on fire, though.
I'm still on fire. And I wouldn't even notice when I'm on fire. Like, that's how messed up, like, my head was, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at her. I turn and look at her mouth wide open. And then that's when I look at myself like, nigga, smoke detectors in the house going off. I'm like, nigga, I'm on fire. So I go to the bathroom, to our room. Then I'm like, nah, I don't want to go to that bathroom. There's carpet in there.
The fact that you're thinking about the upholstery and the carpet.
On fire, man. So I'm telling you, so I went to the other one, man, and, you know, man, when I actually hit that water, it's like, fuck.
You turn the shower on or
that was the only way, shit. I didn't, unless I wanted to set the whole place on fire, stop, drop, and roll. I don't think that would have worked, though. You know what I mean? With the clothes fully, you know what I mean? So everything was there, man. Like, fully, you know what I'm saying?
The shower takes the flames out, and what do you do after? Because this is the clothes that's probably burning onto you now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Shit. Clothes, shit, the shirts and shit, man. My shirts came out, certain pieces of my skin was just, you know what I mean, melted type shit, you know what I'm saying? So, honestly, you know what I mean, I had her drop me off to T. Jones' house, man. And I don't know how long I was there, man, before I remember telling her, "So, mama, if you want me to live," type of shit. Like, I know I gotta go to the hospital.
Yeah,
But
I would say, what kind of pain are you in?
I was fucked up. Like, I was hot, but then, shoot, the moment I hit that water, that shit hurt it. So I'm like, nah, I couldn't do that. So she gave me couple of pain pills, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think I felt any of that shit, you know what I'm saying? So they took me, she ended up driving me to JPS. And said JPS was like, shit, we can't do nothing for you. You know, we're gonna have to transport you. You know what I mean? They had to transport me to Parkland, out here to Dallas. You know, and so from there, man, they put me in a medical seduced coma. So I was in a coma for like 2 weeks. You know, got out the coma.
Well, how was it when you woke up? Like, what?
I was mad as hell.
Yeah, but
I was mad as hell, man. I'm like, fuck. Man, that was the worst feeling ever.
You wanted to be
dead.
Damn.
Dead, man. I wanted to be dead. That was the worst feeling ever, you know what I'm saying? But not even that, though. I woke up and realized I'm alive. And then I look over, I see my mama. And I just start shedding tears. Like, ain't this? Man. That's it. My mama too, but I'm saying that's it because I'm like, man, when I say my old lady has been there for me, man, like through any and everything, you know, even like with the situation with my sister, you know what I mean? Like she didn't talk to me for the first 2 months in jail. But our first conversation, she asked me, Dominique, like, do you regret it? Do you feel sorry for it? And I kind of regret my answer at that time because I was still going through it. I was just like, nah, hell nah, mama. Like, shit, she pulled a gun on me, shit. Like, so Dominic, you don't feel bad? I'm like, hell nah. Like not to speak with no ego, but nah. And that's what started to change me. She hung up on me. Like that killed me. She hung up on me. My first time talking to her, like, she hung up on me, so.
All right, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you, of course, bearing your soul. But one thing we do have to touch on, whenever a man goes to sit down, it's eat or get ate. You know what I'm saying? It's a very much situation. Before you had to sit down, first of all, where did you have to go? You just do county? Did you have to go?
Man, no penitentiary time. Okay. None of that. You know, it was all county. And I say, shoot, my county time was almost like the penitentiary time. I don't know if people heard of Green Bay. Green Bay and Tarrant County. They're like the penitentiary, man. Motherfuckers in cages, literally. You know what I'm saying? The whole jail is just cages for the people, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, so I got locked up in December 2016, you know. So they took me to the old jail downtown, transferred me to Mansfield. Man, I did like damn near 2 full weeks in Mansfield, and then they transferred me back to the county. Man, my whole time in that mud, really thinking, man, so I ain't never had $100,000 bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never, even the fathom, like, I ain't never seen nobody pay, or even, I ain't never seen nobody have $100,000 bill. You know, all my partners who caught they charges and stuff like that for, robbing, murder and stuff like that, I don't think they bill was that high. You know what I mean? If it was, I ain't know. But
is a situation where the bail was $100,000 to where you need to come up with 10%, $10,000?
Exactly,
was there no one that?
Man, it was worse because I had them other charges. You know what I'm saying? I had the assault before that, which tripled or doubled at that time. It doubled that time. That went up to $10K, so it made it $110,000 to get out. you know. But it was like 11,000. They wanted 10%.
So, can you walk us as far as your first day, your first week, how you adjusting? Because most people who go in, they expect themselves to get out, hopefully, within a couple of days. Hopefully somebody outside is going to hold them down and get you on out. How was that first day, the first week?
Man, that's what drove me crazy. Was, you know, I wasn't used to doing no time longer than, you know, 2-3 days probably, you know what I'm saying, at the most. You know, man, I actually, you know what I mean, had it coordinated, you know, my uncle and the police at the hospital had it coordinated for me to turn myself in, man, originally. But me, honestly, man, I had to be motivated and swayed, you know what I mean, so many times, because I'm just like, man, fuck this. I want them to come get it out the mud like I had to come get it out the mud, you know what I'm saying? So the decisions I was making afterwards, you know, it was just a blessing that nobody, you know what I mean, helped me make any bad decisions, you know what I'm saying, at that time, because I was ready to go to war, which really messed me up when I was in there, because I'm thinking I'm finna get out, you know, since it was coordinated with my uncle and, you know, the police, you know what I'm saying. I'm thinking, you know what I mean, he already talking about, yeah, nephew, I got you. And yeah. Nah, man, I got up in that motherfucker day 2, day 3. I'm like, man, what's up, you know what I'm saying? Sure, you gonna come through or what? And shit, never happened. You know what I'm saying? And, man, I ain't gonna lie, that killed my soul, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that was one of the first, shit, that's really my only realest charge I got, you know what I mean, to like where I was gonna be able to, you know what I mean, had to sit down over like that, you know what I'm saying? I was just fortunate, man, throughout the streets and blessed, man, that, you know I had, man, through all the shit I was doing when I was younger, that God was watching me, you know what I mean, he had me protected, you know, for a reason, you know. And even that right there, going to jail that time and just having, you know, my uncle tell me that, you know what I mean, that actually probably saved my life too at that moment, you know.
How much time did you end up being in the county overall?
Overall, man, I probably did about a year, and about 3 months. You know, I went in December, got out March, and I went back on a pre-bond violation, and shit, man, had to get two. I had to get one bond reinstated. Actually, no, man, they actually reinstated 2 of my bonds, but made me bond out on another one. You know what I'm saying? So I think I got the 2 felony charges, or it was either one of them backwards though. You know what I mean? But I got 2 of them reinstated and had to bond out on one of them. You know.
For you know, what do you call it? The Green Mile? What do you call it? The Green Wall?
Nah, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay.
What is? Because I ain't never been in that situation. What's the layout like? How is it pods? Is it how many? Like, is it? What's the situation as far as the layout of everyone that's in there?
Man, it's pods everywhere, man. When I say pods, cages. Like, how can I explain it? I'm gonna say the size of a house with like 50 people in it, a normal house. Yeah. You know, with like 50 people in it. You know, it was crazy though, because even though we weren't in a penitentiary, you know what I mean, Green Bay, like it's segregated. You know what I mean? They like do that politics type shit that they doing the pen type shit. White people with white people, black people with black people. In the county, everybody mingling. You know what I'm saying? In Tarrant County, downtown, everybody mingling. But shit, when you get to Green Bay, So you can mingle with them, but you know, everybody bunk with their people type of thing. And that was just different to me, you know what I'm saying?
Was there any notable people that that came through there that, you know, either the world may know or you may know, anybody that you kind of got close with while you was in there?
Man, my second time, you know, I was in there doing time with Low Key, Stop Six Low Key, Lil Ronnie, TK. I was over, yeah, I was shit next door to him type of stuff, you know. He at the basketball court, we at the window, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if I should say this, but you know what I mean, I would love to, you know, apologize to that man because he going through real stuff. And you know, I did some stuff, you know what I mean, showing out, you know, with Low Key and Lil Ronnie around, get money Lil Ronnie around, and I actually feel bad that I actually, you know what I mean, just said some messed up stuff, you know what I mean, just tried to tell him, you know what I mean, so get down with, you know what I mean, the whole movement of what Fort Worth doing. But it wasn't me, it wasn't in my place to say nothing to that man, you know what I'm saying? And I just be realizing, man, I put myself in a lot of situations in life, just sometimes being a bigger person and just showing up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even then, mind you, man, I was in there holding prayer groups and stuff from time to time. You know what I mean? That second go round in there with them. You know, that didn't really make sense to me. But you know what I mean? Because it was like instantly the moment I did it, I felt different. I'm like, nigga, why would I say something like that to, you know what I mean? Somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Mind you, I love Fort Worth, but you know, man, Fort Worth then gave me hell too. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I meant to ask you, what are your religious beliefs? Because of course, you know, when you hear about, you know, from the scars you have on you, you know, attempting to take your life, it does make someone wonder as far as what do you believe in? Is there a higher power that you look towards, and do you blame?
Man, I used to say, you know what I mean, Christian, you know what I'm saying? But as I got older, and you know, as I'm starting to figure out names like Yah and all these different Yahweh and all these different names, I'm just like, nah, I don't even want to put no name to him. I don't even want to put him in the flesh, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather, you know what I mean, go with what I know that's been protecting me in my life, which has got to be a higher power than anything, you know. But I will say this though, you know, I would definitely tell any younger kids that's growing up that don't know how to get out of a situation. Maybe if they just start praying and talking to God, and you know what I mean, start putting a little bit of works with that, you know what I mean, their situation can change and will change, you know what I'm saying?
How did you do your time? You know, most people, when they get to sit down and they don't know when they're going home, they got to make the most of it. How did you, you know, get through the day to day?
That right there, God, man. I'm reading my Bible.
How far you get into it?
20 pages. You know, in 3 to 4, in 3 to 4 month spans. You know, I actually had a knife Bible. You know what I mean? That I actually was reading a lot more than the King James version. And I would just flip through the Bible, man, certain nights and read a verse or two and elaborate on what he's trying to say to me, you know what I'm saying? And I was finding myself at the same time, you know, losing another part of myself.
Did any verse or a particular verse hit hard to you?
Man, the only verses, you know, Psalms, you know, 23, you know, the prayer, you know, that, you know, you say before you go to sleep, you know, that we grew up saying. I would say that every night, and I would read it every other night, you know, just to talk to them, you know, because even after I say prayers every night, I would talk to them literally, like, verbally out my mouth, you know what I'm saying, just whispering, laying up in that bunk. And then so I would just talk to him, period, you know what I mean, in my head. Like, I had so many conversations with him, and it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? So, like when people say that, you know what I mean, God, we are gods and stuff, it'd be kind of crazy because you can kind of believe it when you get to looking into your mental, you know what I'm saying? When you get to looking at the mind states and the different, the different things that you, what do you call it, man? When you look into, you know what I mean, when you just get to exploring, man, the human mind,
the psychology behind, you know, how we move.
You hit the right on the head, the psychology behind it, man. It's deep.
When you look at your own psychology, as far as looking at what makes you tick, being in a place to where, you know, they put us in cages and they expect us to act human when we're in an inhumane situation. Did it get you to kind of understand other people that came in, even people that left out? I'm sure there's people that came in after you're there and left out before you. And I'm sure there's people that was been in there way before you had got there and they're still in there with no kind of date to get out as far as pending trial or whatever it is. Did you understand the psychology behind other inmates that was in there kind of during the time?
Most definitely. But it also made me understand, you know what I mean, mine, you know what I mean, my psychology. I wasn't meant for no jail. Yeah. I was always telling myself, I mean, if I'm ever looking at real time, I'm gonna try to hurt one of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to kill me one of them. You know what I'm saying? And when I look around there, man, it was a lot of talent. It was a lot of smart people that I'm just like, these motherfuckers too smart to be in here. Like, you know, that second go around when I was in there with Low Key and Lil Ronnie, you know, it was kind of crazy because that was my most awakening time. You know, I had met a pastor and a priest. I can't remember his name right now, but he actually started a prayer group, and I would go attend it, and I would see people say things that they want to pray about, and a lot of stuff was things that people wanted to do when they got out, and I'm like, that's kind of backwards, you know. I ain't understand it, but then again, I do, you know. A lot of people speaking stuff into existence, but then you had the ones that didn't join it. Man, you hearing them wilding out at them, like, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? They fighting every day, you know what I'm saying? Go up in there, get their money, you know what I'm saying? It be what it be. But for the most part, the people I was around in there was really about change, you know, and positivity. Because shit, if you ain't got that in a place like that, it's a wrap.
So I would say, what did you personally do for fun? What was everyone kind of doing for fun? Like, you know, because you got to have some levity while you in there.
Eat. Me personally, man, that's why I got it, man. I became, the best chef in that.
Yeah, but I said, are you able to eat like that? Like, are you able to get?
Man, it's cold blooded the way they do you in there, man. During that time, they took them little stingers away. You know what I'm saying? They took the stingers away. I mean, a dude got hot water poured on him and stuff and melted his face. That was around about the time I had just got there, so they took the stingers away and they gave us like hot pots. Man, I said that shit didn't get the water hot at all, man. We was having to use faucet water at one point, though. They took the hot pots away, you know what I'm saying? So we was just having to use regular hot water out the faucet, but the food was good, man. Like the food that you was able to make compared to the food they was giving you. All right, man, them noodles with that summer sausage, you know what I'm saying? Or that tuna. Man, put you some chips over the top of that mud, some of that ranch. It ain't nothing like it, man. It ain't nothing like it, man, compared to that, you know what I mean, that tray, man. That tray, you know what I mean, it ain't even cornbread, man. We call it food. You know what I mean? The little patties, we call them brake pads, you know. Man, they real, man. I ain't gonna cap to you. Like, the food really kind of mess you up. And, man, I want to say this too, man. You know, for every young person, man, I do want to share this, you know, if you can find you something to do in life early and stick to it, do it. You know, I realized where I went wrong at, and that was just by looking for love at an early age. If you ever go to jail and you start getting in trouble, your peoples cannot help you. You know, I was Charleston White, man. I never heard nobody speak of, you know, the type of shit that Charleston said, man, when he said, you know, after providing protection for, you know, for some of his friends and stuff like that. You know what I mean? One of his friends that killed, you know what I mean, the police, their son killed the police officer, you know what I'm saying? That they can actually lock you up and, you know, throw away the key type shit. That shit real. You know, I had to witness that for myself. You know what I mean? I had an incident where I actually passed out in there and it was a wrap. You know what I mean? I woke up to 3-4 police officers hit my head in the wall and I'm, you know what I mean, pinned up. You know, I'm really confused, like, what the hell going on? And they was like, stop resisting, but mind you, you know what I'm saying? At this time, I'm starting to get aggravated, like, man, why the fuck y'all roughing me up? You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, I passed out, man. And they took me to a crazy cell, man. Like, took me to a crazy cell, like, I ain't get no phone calls, no nothing for like 3-4 days or something like that, you know.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to ask you as far as who did call you? Who did you have on the outside that checked on you? You had mentioned your baby mom had called you early on.
Yeah.
And then, like, how did that go and how was that phone call and expecting her to ride for you throughout the whole time?
Man, she held it down for the most part, man. You know that second, I mean, she was really my rock in there majority of the time, you know. You know, that second time I went in there though, like, you know, I feel like she was trying to kill me herself though, you know, just because, you know, it was certain stuff being said, like, you know, other people gonna, you know what I mean, can take care of your kids and stuff. It was just little foul stuff being said, and I'm gonna make you want to kill yourself by the time I'm done with you. It was certain stuff that was being said to me in that mother that was messing my mental up, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't need to ever call her on while I'm in jail. None of this, cause yeah, you know what I mean. She'll kind of make you get out on the wrong path if you ain't trying to think right, and that's where I was at that time. You know what I mean. I was thinking negative as hell when I was getting them fucked up phone calls. You know what I mean. When I was calling her and getting, you know what I mean, negative responses. You know, but you know. That was part of my doing, though. You know what I mean? I was conscious of knowing that our situation was toxic a long time ago, before I even called the felonies, you know, dealing with her, you know what I'm saying, or the situation, you know, because I was responsible for even staying in it. You know, I was responsible for not loving myself, you know, and actually looking into somebody else to, you know what I mean, for other happiness. But she was there that second go round, but that's when we fell off and things went left. Man, I actually got a new little boo thing during that time that, you know what I mean, did a lot. You know what I'm saying? Why?
This is CO or this is
Nah, yeah, man. But the good thing about it, she worked right down there, right downtown by him. So you know that actually helped me out, man. I was feeling bad. I was feeling guilty in there because, you know, she was spending her little child support money, you know what I'm saying, and putting money on the phones. I ain't find this out until I got out, you know what I'm saying. And once she said that, I'm like, I realized priorities and stuff was different, man. I was trying to figure out how to be to myself and just but I'm still fighting, you know. I'm still fighting my case. It got hectic, you know. I couldn't be around my mom and, you know, my sister at that time, you know. So, you know, shoot, after spending money on bond, you know, prior to, so I was having to make a situation work, you know, and so it worked out, man. It worked out for the most part, you know. It got me to the point to where I got out and got my own stuff.
No, it definitely. When it comes to the talent level that be locked up, you know, because again, a lot of people at home don't think about it. And I don't. We're not here to encourage anybody to do anything to take penitentiary chances, but there is a bunch of talent that be locked up. How much talent do you see among, you know, the people that's in there, as far as from artists to, you know?
Man, honestly, man, it's like a 60-40. 60% of them us, 60% of the people in that jail or in them jails, man, is really smart as hell, and the other 40% dumb. And I wouldn't even say dumb. They just not conscious, you know, of themselves, you know. But that's what going to jail taught me even more, because I wasn't finna do 10 years. So it made me be conscious to where I'm finna get out and I'm finna change everything. I actually came up with a business plan. My first time ever thought about going into business was in jail, talking to another older guy, you know, on box trucks. And I read down everything. We wrote down the whole little plan. When I get out, how to get the truck, what to do. I'm gonna go to cons, I'm gonna do this, try to get contracts with them with certain little things. And I actually got out and started putting stuff in effect like that.
No, definitely. Was there any other books that you read outside of the biblical books?
Man, I believe it's called How to Handle Adversity. It was a motivational book. Outside of that, man, I was into laws. I was into other cases, trying to figure out how to beat my case, man, or how to, you know, free myself due to any, you know, wrongful things that the laws was doing. You know what I'm saying? I found a couple of things that could have been like prosecution misconduct, you know what I mean, on top of, you know, shit, man, what you call it, man, when they try to persuade you to do things.
Yeah, I forget the name.
Not coercion. I think.
But it's something around that coercion.
Coercion.
Yeah, coercion.
Yeah, but that's in there too. You can use that because, man, they let me get full. You know what I mean? Before I turn myself in, I'm drinking 2 beers, pulling up and smoking a blunt, man. Shit, when I turn myself in, and they just shit. They still asking me, "You gonna talk to me?" I'm like, nah, I ain't. But shit, when they was like, "So you can only help yourself or make it worse," I'm like, all right, then, fuck it, I'll talk to you. And shit, man, the moment I went in there to talk to them, man, they got to ask me crazy ass questions. And I just had to kind of just, you know what I mean, keep it as solid as, you know what I mean, I could, to really not tell on myself or what I did, you know what I mean, because shit, I wasn't finna tell them what a gun was, you know. And yeah, it was just a bad situation, man. You know, I just, you know, was just like, shit, man. I had a gun, they had a gun, and that's what happened, man.
Now you get out, you get to it. Again, even your necklace says self-paid.
Most definitely.
And I want you to speak on that mentality, because again, that's something that most folks, you know, you got to get out. You want, some people just say, I'm gonna go flip burgers because I can't do nothing else. I can't process a way to make anything by myself. And for the self-paid mentality, you have to earn that through life. and through, you know, situations and, you know, going through it.
Most definitely.
How has that been for you? How's it going? And what can you speak on it, even to motivate the young men who kind of are lost out here, not knowing how to get to it?
And like I told them earlier, and I mean, all the young folks, if you can find you a plan and a certain thing you like to do growing up, stick to it and make that become your life, you know, because the moment you start straggling and get lost out here, it's kind of hard to pull yourself back together. So the first thing I realized after getting out of jail, man, was, shit, I ain't know shit. I ain't know nothing. I ain't have a driver license. You know what I'm saying? So immediately, like after getting out of 2018, I just started moving, man. Slow, you know what I mean, to get my license, to start up my LLCs. I took it step by step. Because, man, to be honest, man, everything in there killed me. I feel like I wasn't supposed to be doing what I was doing when I was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like before I went to jail, I wasn't supposed to be living that life. It's like I came to a whole awakening. Like, even during the certain times I was going to jail, you know what I mean? So, like, the little 2-3 fights I had in there was just because me losing my head. I was pissed off from getting visits and not being able to go home, from seeing my daughter, and, you know. So it was just me acting off impulse and not giving a fuck, which is the sum of my life. And if you can ever take anything from me, is that don't give a fuck mentality will kill you, it will eat you. Because if you gotta live eventually and get to living differently, you're gonna realize you rebelled against a lot of stuff that could have been, you know, better off for you. You know, and that was a big reason of me wanting to kill myself. But overall, man, just this business stuff, man, it became a different world for me, man. You know, I ain't have no resources, I ain't have nothing. I ain't know much, you know. So I got to calling anybody I can call, man, how to do this. And one of my friends actually had a registered agent that was gonna help me set up my LLC, and that's what I got everything set up. And man, I went into hot shotting. I will tell you, any business though that you want to go into, like transportation wise, at least come in with 100,000 or more, and have 1 or 2 paid for, either your truck and trailer or a truck or trailer.
Good information, no.
Yeah, real talk.
How'd you find? I mean, what hurdles did you did you have to know that information?
You know,
Good information.
nah, real talk.
How'd you find? I mean, what hurdles did you did you have to know that information?
Man, my first load, man, is I was picking up a load out of Roanoke, and I was taking it to Houston. Man, when I say I messed up everything, man. I messed up another dude trailer on my first drop off after dropping off my very first car. You know, turned the back end of my trailer, caught the end of his tires or the middle of his hub. Man, it was just bad. I ended up having to go pay for his shit, you know what I mean? Get him squared away, and then figure out how to get my stuff fixed. So, you know, end up flipping my truck the next day, getting up out of Houston. Took out a couple stop signs, poles. I ain't know how to drive, man. That was my first time, man. That was my first time in a truck. That was my first time with a trailer on the back.
Trying to get it, like man.
But yeah,
Any means.
I sat in the house 2 months. My overhead was like 6,000 to 7,000. So by that third month, I'm in here looking like I gotta get to work. Like I done just paid $12,000 or so to the stuff I done got a loan for. I done went broke on. Shoot, yeah. So I had to hit the road. And once I hit the road, it was really up and going. But with a new authority, you don't get no business like that. Like you get places that are lowball you, but you know, I was hearing a lot. You know, I at least need 6 months. You at least need a year. You know what I'm saying, to be able to work with us and all this type of stuff. So yeah, man, it was a journey, man.
Learning lessons.
Big journey.
You know, Dom, I have to get your take on it because, you know, I follow, you know, your social media. I follow your Facebook, and I see that you yourself have a lot of commentary when you see like you just spoke on what Charleston White is doing and what he's saying, and the things that happen with these young kids getting bullied and kids that think they have to, of course, carry guns and go out here and defend themselves and again, taking penitentiary chances. I want you to speak more on that as far as just when you look at and you open up your phone like we all do and go to social media, what it is that, you know, us and our culture are seeing. Because again, not only did you try to take your own life, you're a father.
Exactly.
You come from a broken home. You are the stereotypical person that they will put on the news and throw a mugshot up and say, oh, question his upbringing and things of that nature, question your life. But I want you to speak to just everything we see and that's going on and right now and everything that's kind of processing, especially in Dallas-Fort Worth.
One thing I can say, man, that's for sure, our parents wasn't prepared for this generation. A lot of our parents, especially if we grew up in poverty, you know, I think even the rich people kids weren't even prepared for, you know, the 2000th century kick in with technology and everything else. It was a different swing, you know, with everything opening up, being at, you know, grabs, you know, and hands reach. You know, a lot of older people wasn't ready for this generation, and I go to say that just because, you know, with like me growing up in the early 2000s, man, we had the same guns they was having, you know what I mean, in 2015 through the Chicago War and shit, you know what I'm saying? But of course, you know what I mean, no switches and none of that stuff was around, but them extendos and all that stuff, but it was just like, guns was a lot more available to, I don't know how, to us younger kids during that time. A lot of stuff was available, and I guess it's because I was more in the streets. As I got older, I realized that it ain't about living life as a black man now. You know what I mean? The older I got, you gotta more like live life as a man for everybody, because I feel like a lot of men lost that sense of being a man in the early, you know, 1960s and 70s, especially us as black men. You know, Charleston White has been one of the hardest people I've seen, you know what I mean, come out and actually attack the black community or even try to show them different, you know. Mirror, you know. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? And that right there, you know, it's kind of a bad thing, man, because Charleston say some crazy stuff, you know, and people don't understand, you know, that mirror that he's holding up, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to get lost in it, but a person like him is needed in these days, because people not listening to people like Dr. Umar, you know, people not listening. The young pharaohs back in the day before he lost his mind, and CIDE and all these other people, you know what I mean? People wasn't really searching for that type of knowledge, you know. Me, after I got out of jail, that was the main thing I wanted to find out is where I'm from. As a, you know what I mean? As an African American, I want to know where I'm from, like what country, you know what I mean? Really, you know what I mean? What, you know what I'm saying? So one thing I will say, man, is just, yeah, man, our parents was totally unprepared for, you know what I mean, what was to come with this technology age, man, in the 2000th century. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like it got different every 5 years, you know what I'm saying? From the flip phone to the BlackBerry to the, you know what I mean, to the touchscreen. It just got different every 5 years.
I can only imagine where it's going next. I mean, I can only imagine. Man, with that being said, you know, right now we're just scratching the